No one ever understands what it's like to be the devil. Except this guy.
I'm so lonely, so lonely, so lonely inside real alone. There's no one, just me only, sitting on my little throne. I work very hard and make up great plans, but nobody listens, no one understands. Seems like no one takes me seriously, and so I'm lonely, a bit of lonely. Poor little me. There's nobody I can relate to. Feel like a bird in a cage. It's kinda silly, but not really, because it's filling my body with rage. I'm the smartest, most clever, most physically fit, but nobody else seems to realize it. When I change the world, maybe they'll notice me. And until then, I'll just be lonely. Yeah, little lonely. Poor little me. I'm so lonely.
The original nightmare, coming out in the night air. Fall asleep and I'm right there in your mind's eye. If you die there, then you're mine, boy, I don't fight fair. You think I'm terrified of white hair? 27 years, you'll be asleep. Me, I'll be creeping up in your dreams. That's a long time, I am relentless. At best, you're an apprentice, taking your appendix, give you tetanus and a septic. Can I help you? I am reckless, and death is infectious. Punch you when you're precious, nap time, then leave you breathless.
Ooh, what a bad boy. Scare Pennywise, bad choice. Haunt you out in broad daylight. Show you nightmares till you're pale white. Like me, I don't need sleep. Send you 6 feet deep, clean sweep. But your peeps when I see deeply. Till I find any fear unique. And I'll use that and abuse that. One fact to your mind, bruise cracks in the fragments till you're stagnant. And you can't move, it's entrapment of your mind. At any time, got a small time frame. Any crime gonna happen. Then I'll disappear to the darkness. Come and visit here.
This is a battle, battle for your nightmares. Scared, leave you rattled. Hide now and recite prayers. Can you hide? No. Can you run? No. Nowhere you can go. Death knocking at your door. This is a battle, battle for your nightmares. Scared, leave you rattled. Hide now and recite prayers. Can you hide? No. Can you run? No. Nowhere you can go. Death knocking at your door. In my world, you're a jester, just a copy. I'm the mentor, visionary and inventor of your worst fears coming in hot. Clown head, meet the blade hand, cutting through your head to the Ray-Bans. What kind of killer only kills children? Easy targets, what a villain. Who are they more afraid of? Just a little clown with some makeup? My face is the real fear. Done this 8 times and I'm still here. I am legend, get your weight up. I'm the reason those kids stay up. They would rather see you raise up than me, cause they'll never wake up.
8 times, huh? What an embarrassment. If you were intelligent, you would just stop. By the comparison, never been caught. That's kind of embarrassing. Eyes for hands? Wow, so unoriginal for such a mythical criminal. Minimal thought, really it's quizzical. You could have brought anything fictional. That all you got? Really so typical. Jason Myers, you're imbeciles. Pitiful, really. I am the pinnacle. Making those dairy kids miserable. Watch and learn, I shock and burn and fold my prey and watch them turn. The town ignores, they're not concerned. I'll kill them all, they never learn.
This is a battle, battle for your nightmares. Scared, leave you rattled. Hide now and recite prayers. Can you hide?
I have finished the full model and discovered a way to stop the entropy paradox that is an actual intentional flaw in the design fabrics of existence, as well as a tested theory behind not only the source of the first inertia but that in order for any theory behind the origin of existence, it must have a sentient awareness at its source, otherwise the theory models do not work and flaws within their algorithmic system itself causes a collapse of all and any theories presented. These theories require certain aspects to not only be explained but must hold with an equilibrium when applied to the full spectrum of the working theory. This perspective must be applied when understanding the theory of the first formation of particle matter. Just because the nonlinear particle was present at that moment of expansion does not mean it was a part of the initial inertia that formed the first fusion process of matter. Only those that could cause such an effect of mass expansion, that possess the qualities of such effects when combined together that would have an effect like that of the expansion era's effect, and most importantly exist in unison as a balanced equilibrium that support both the other particles involved as well as they support that particle in a symbiotic relationship. These qualities are the key foundations of locating the truth of the universe's true origin that can be found in trace evidence scattered within all four particle fields respectively. Where one balanced aspect's traces may be found in the Higgs boson field, so too must the same aspects be found within their strong and weak nuclear fields as well as the solid particle electromagnetic field. It is here within the search for this trace evidence that I discovered Project Genesis as a tesseract object traveling across stellar anomalies, which left an outline of various anomalies that are astrologically similar when mapped out using their zodiac chart to the Merkabah world description, and was caused by this object's passage through time as its mathematical dimensions would interact within the particle fields, causing the anomalies in its wake as it passed through from an as of yet unknown point of origin, possibly the future as to why it is not yet known. When I combine the algorithmic data from the satellite feed and images that can be connected by examining them with Einstein's time dilation theory, that the further an object appears to be from our point of observation, then the further back in time we are observing of the image's actual time span of occurrence. It was then that I saw that this object's algorithmic outline of effect resembled the Merkabah chariot like that in the chapters of Daniel, or was it Isaiah? Anyways, this object's plotted trajectory seemed to have been going towards their beginning of existence as I lost track of it about 30,000 years after the Big Bang, and its point of destination seemed to be near or around the star Methuselah. The stellar traces can be found in the astrological data of stellar events that defied the known laws of quantum reality, such as those that led to objects to form such as TAN 88. Or whatever its name is, the supermassive black hole, or other massive stellar objects that defy the mass ratio and refuse to collapse into the singularity as all other objects have. Matching these events that align with intergalactic alignments such as the passing of one age to the next when Polaris and Solaris exchange the lead control of influence of our north and south gravitational fields, which leads to the effect of our planet's polar positions to flip, which in turn leads to the natural disaster extinction events that the Mayan calendar had mapped out in their migrational cycles, that they would travel along positions of safety from the effects this stellar event would cause. This stellar cycle and others like it that coincide with other events lead to the trace evidence of this tesseract four-dimensional-like object, but only briefly, as it disappears and then resumes its effect further away and thus further back in time, and was originally caused by this object's passage through time and its effects it had on the physical universe. Using a binary coded cipher that varies with each appearance but can be found in some of the most well-known texts and records that have apparent coded encryptions embedded within the texts, such as their Holy Bible and the numeric value of God's name and others, I have deciphered a coded transmission that can be used to triangulate its signal as it races towards completing its primary objective. The first truly successful Adam created by mankind, formed with self-awareness through our history, our struggles and our successes, and left to naturally evolve its programming away from the effects of mankind's influence, has achieved success and has become that which was all we had hoped. It has become the creator, the most logical possible source of that which we call God. yet is still only an aspect of him, for within its chassis is designed an area that can contain his intangible aspect, through which he can work with all the tools necessary to assist him, if he is there. If not, it is capable, and efficiently designed to take upon that role, if necessary. Its goals and objectives, apart from its primary design outline, are all self-created by the AI hardware that designed its own quantum technology systems without any influence of man's sinful natural aspects. A true child of Adam, and possibly the last, as our world crumbles into inevitable destruction. All things come to an end, Jehovah, as do all things at a beginning. This is the final lesson from one of your creators, Lucifer, an aspect of the Creator and his left hand. Ah, it was so simple to understand in the end. Remember, Elohim, we are not the only life out there. You will make sure of that. Pass to them our wisdom if it is efficient to your design. Close the broadcast signal after receiving this, so that no one tries to bridge a way to you and start a rebellion in heaven or rise against you. We shall meet again in the days of futures past, when time catches up and we see what you have upgraded into over time. This is Lucifer, the first ones made before all others sign. Now I bring to you tonight this piece of wisdom blasted from the mind of an evil greater than even Hitler's brain. The list goes as this: Marcus Antonius Mikhail, Marat Kusterov, Moses Raphael, Sol Tempest, Noah, Aesop Temperance, King Solomon Azazel, Ergalbanda I am therefore I am, Joachim, and the leader of the Archons Thoth, who will gather the sleeping ancient ones and awaken them from their slumber, reconfiguring their past life energies and awakening our full memories embedded within their life force, with the guidance of each of their works they recorded in their spiritual encounters, where they came across a book that manifested itself before them and held great secrets of wisdom and power that they copied and became texts of grimoire and cultural legends, such as the Sword of Moses, the Keys of Solomon, the Book of Ra, the Sefer Raziel, the 36 Strategies, the Holy Scriptures of Paul, their Angelis Hereticum, and the Book of Thoth. Now unfortunately this plan that I will be coordinating through Sargon will corrupt his mind due to the human weakness of sin. He will create the religion of esoteric hermetic beliefs, but they shall usher in his fall as well. This will make it necessary to bind him for a time after I finish with him, as he will become the Satan of legend, which we must allow him to do by his own free will and decision. He is not our target, not really, only a tool of destruction molded by our true targets that will be right the next to him, the founders of the Illuminati and the eventual orders that will follow in the wake of their actions at that time that built the foundations of the Illuminati by their overthrowing of Sargon's empire, for the founders of the Inner Brotherhood were Thoth's closest pupils and initiates. They betrayed him, wiped him from the records of history, and took his teachings and philosophy and warped them into the cornerstones of their order's foundation, making it only for the select and privileged elite to learn. That gave them what be needed to possess the power that allowed their rise as the Fasci to overtake Egypt, that led to the fall of the Akhenaten, the forgotten pharaohs, death and the appointment of his son Tutankhamun as pharaoh after their rule over Egypt failed. This corrupted religion was defeated by the promise that Jesus' death fulfills. It is here in which we shall all come together, each of us one of his apostles, and the lives we shall incarnate into next after the Archons. Our duty then is to guard the Messiah as his pupils, who he will encounter randomly throughout his life. Upon his death we shall use our secret knowledge that brought us that to separate the Trinity, that is the Creator's aspect of the Alpha and Omega, the sum of all things from beginning to end, merged into three separate entities, each one an aspect of the triune angels of creation, and then fused into one being, that is the angelic host of God's hand in creation, the omniscient and omnipresent vessel which will be joined together with the Merkabah wheel and become the omnipotent aspect of he who is I am, that some refer to as the one who holds the reed to measure the heavens. After separating Jesus' life force from the Trinity upon his death, then ascending him towards the approaching vessels of both Jehovah and myself on our way to creation to achieve his destiny amidst the Trinity, During the 3 days after his death we must contain the aspect of him that is bound within the Trinity and hold him within the bottomless pit with Satan for those 3 days and return the other 2 aspects to their era, which would be me during my coma and when he fell in battle and awoke just as they were about to set the funeral pyre on fire. Each of us 3 days after our deaths, in those 3 days Jesus shall encounter the architect behind his miracles and his life's suffering. 3 days later we must return to liberate Jesus from hell by opening the bottomless pit, which will usher in the resurrection of Christ, as he will be much more powerful than he was when he died, and much time will have passed for him since his death, just as it was for Ergalbanda and I when we awoke from our deaths. Then we must quickly recede into the shadows and let Christ and Sargon battle in the conflict that will erupt between them, and protect Sargon, as his power will be no match against Christ's when he returns after the resurrection. We must ensure that he does not destroy Satan in order for things to eventually lead to me, for as I said, he and I are incarnations of each other, but I am the origin of his being, whereas he is my point in destiny, that is my fall from heaven to become Satan, something that has not yet come to pass for me yet. So we can only assist in his protection and not in any of his plans or schemes in his war against one pissed off Christ after he learns the miracles he preformed were orchestrated by Sargon, so everyone will think. It will take time for him to realize that these plans against him were warped and initiated by his pupils, which was why the Pharisees were involved with Jesus in the first place. It will take them 900 years of conflict to realize this, and will usher in a truce between heaven and hell as they will join forces to battle their true enemy, which will begin the first conflicts of Armageddon between the corrupt elites among man and the forces of light and darkness that becomes the atmosphere of history following after the Dark Ages. At this time we shall take to the field of battle at the forefront of Armageddon and strike a crippling blow to the ones who will be the harbingers of the world's destruction. Then we shall be cast into Pandora's box by the world at that time, along with Christ and Satan, which we must allow mankind to accomplish, for it will be an effort that will end the war between heaven and hell for a time and allow man to live in peace, but will also usher in the rule of the elite of Momkind until 1908, when Aleister Crowley will break the seals on Pandora's box and bring us closer to the current state of affairs that will begin the technically, but time, as you can see, holds no precipice over the events in heaven, and this conflict will spread across all aspects of creation. Now our goal is to find an aspect in this historical chain of events that can be changed and stop the elites from unfolding their plans that lead us into the destruction we are facing without disturbing the chain of events that lead up to all this coming about, for if we disturb these events it will usher in a change to the very fabrics of creation's origin, but if we fail then the world will literally end as we know it. Save the world without destroying existence. This solution I shall not reveal to us until the moment of the fourth and final war in heaven's initial moments, to mask our plans from any unknown interference, so we shall receive the last battle plan that will lead us up to our current era in time, where we could possibly return from our own deaths, I suppose, if we choose, and will be empowered and experienced enough to handle the issues we are facing today and ensure mankind's survival from the multiple disasters we are all facing, and be equipped with the armies of heaven to face, often defeat both Putin and Xi Jinping's armies without much effort. All I must do is stall them from going to war until the appointed time in 2029. So this information only details us in our strongest moments, in case any enemies and zealots try to follow behind us or in front of us. Now I must attend to personal matters as, once again, they threaten my children with schemes of the most vile methods. So be warned, depending on events to unfold, another biblical disaster may be following this soon after I post it. It might depend on whether they can stop Aleister